Good morning. So what a time we had last night. After the last video, we were trying to get to this campsite. We only had so many options. We knew that even if we got here in the dark, that it would be quick and easy to find. There's like a little road walk here that you come in, and the comments were like the brook is there. So as soon as you come in, there was a nice tent spot here. But when we were going, so it would have been about 1.5 miles back. That was a long 1.5 miles. My back started going out, which my back had been doing really well. I could feel it, but it wasn't going into spasms. But I did have a change in medication just with waiting to get some delivered. But I don't even know that it was that. I think yesterday we did 19.1, but we had 6,000 feet of elevation gain. And it was a lot of rock climbing. I think that was, if you include the elevation gain and stuff, that was our biggest day, right? I can't remember doing that much elevation, and especially not on a 19. You're doing a double whammy. It's a long day and high elevation. So I'm thinking it was that. So we were about 1.5 miles from camp, and I was like, okay, my back is starting to spasm. And so I got my TENS machine out, but I hadn't had to use my TENS machine in, I'd say, 2 weeks. And we couldn't get it to work. There's something, it is getting pretty old. It feels like one of the buttons is stuck, so it's not letting the other ones work to turn on. We tried everything, changing batteries. Faith tried playing with it, and we couldn't get it to go. I was in tears. I was like, okay, this is going to be a long 1.5 miles until we lay down. And it's pouring rain. So it was like, Faith just trying to talk me through it. And I was breathing through it like as if I was in labor. Dumped all my water. She had enough. And she's like, do you want me to carry your pack? I'm like, how are you going to carry 2 packs? So we just had to kind of truck through it, and I got here, and I laid it on the ground in the things while Faye set up the tent. I was just laying there, pouring rain in my face, all over me, just laying there. And then I didn't even take my mat out or anything, so then I stood up, and I'm covered, like soaking wet, just covered in these little pine needle things, trying to brush them off. I can still feel it, like where and then even when we got here, my ribs started to go so bad. So it was a huge day, but the good thing is it didn't kick in until 1.5 miles before camp. So that was 17.5 miles I did in that, and all of the elevation, all of that was done that before it really did anything. So, so it was definitely an interesting night. But one thing I did bring with me is I brought, because I have asthma and I have anaphylactic allergies and all kinds of stuff, I don't take it often, but prednisone will help to relieve that inflammation. So if I had a really bad asthma attack and I couldn't get it to loosen up, then I could, especially out here, right? Then I could take it prednisone for 5 days, and that'll help to reduce the inflammation. It also, if I had an allergy attack or ate something that I shouldn't have, they always give you prednisone afterwards too. So even if it was a mild attack and I managed it on my own, I still probably would take the prednisone just to be safe, to reduce that inflammation in my body. But so I started taking it last night. I took one. I'm going to try and take it for this to help us get through the whites. I was in tears crying, going, okay, this is going to be a nightmare trying to get through the whites. And that was without even knowing that my TENS machine isn't working. That was an even bigger nightmare. So we got to get that stuff figured out. Well, we got, I think it might be 6 o'clock right now. Maybe just a few minutes after 6. We got up at 5:30. We got 5 miles to get to the welcome hostel. We were drowned rats, and with all that, we decided you never put on any dry clothes. You get back in your wet clothes because it's supposed to rain today, unless you know for sure you're going into town. Now, the chance of rain at 8 o'clock, there's supposed to be no chance of rain between now and 8. And then it's only like 25 or 35%. And then nothing at 9. So I'm not sure why that works. So technically the rain isn't supposed to start again till like later this morning, 10ish or something. And we've only got 5 miles. So I got on some dry stuff. And then we're heading to the hostel just to give ourselves a little morale boost this morning so we're not soaking wet and frozen again. Yeah, but anyway, so off to the hostel we go. Unless it's something really cool, I'm not taking out my phone because we're also low on battery. We have enough battery to get us to the welcome hostel. We're fine there. But yeah, unless it's something really cool, I'm not going to take out my phone. We're just going to truck through. Yeah, the other thing we just thought of was raining. We were in the bush. There was comments and stuff warning about that section being pretty muddy. And then I went to step on a rock. I couldn't remember really what happened. I just remember my pole was stuck deep in the mud. Faye said she saw my foot that I stepped on the rock slide off the side of the rock. And then with my pole being stuck in the mud, I couldn't save myself. And my whole body twisted really weird. And then I fell off the side of the trail onto some rocks. At the moment, it hurt my hip and my knee. And I was covered in mud and it was raining. But I don't really feel any pain in my hip and my knee this morning. But Faith said the way that my whole body twisted, it was crazy how it twisted. So I'm wondering if that too could have triggered my back last night. Because most nights I've been my back is still, I have AS, it's going to be there. But everything that we were doing with me, what I do is I lay out flat now. I don't sit on my bum because that kind of puts a lot of pressure on the spine. So when we take a break, I'm laying out flat. We make sure that I have a spot to do that. I do it often throughout the day. And I was taking my medication and we're doing all the things and it was seeming to work. Now, we hit a new craziness. This is the hardest section of the trail. And we did hit it and we're trying to do big miles. But my back went out after that. So I'm thinking that it didn't help anyway. A lot of nights, I think it was the night before too, when we got to camp, it was just starting. I could feel that pressure there that it might start to spasm, but I made it. And that was an 18.9 and it was a pretty hard day also. Had a lot of climbing, not quite the same amount, but almost. I think we had 5,200 compared to 59 or 6. So, so a lot of things could have contributed to it. But yeah, that added to my bad day yesterday. I had a nice big muddy wipe out in the bush. Well, yesterday was not a good day. So we just hit this. We just met a southbounder named Captain Sunshine. And we chit-chatted with her for a few minutes. And didn't even realize that as we walked past her, we got to this. So this is their 400. And this is ours, means we have 400 left. Because we haven't, our 1900, our 1800 will be right after we leave Welcome Hostel. That's at $17.99, I think. But this is a big deal. The minute we walk over here, what's left for us starts with a 3. Yikes!
Ready? Ladies and gentlemen, every year at Hikers Welcome, we get a box that just seems unbelievable. Hikers that have maybe too much stuff. These people are through hiking, and this box has been sitting here for the better part of 3 months. I'd like to show you now, not only the biggest resupply box I've ever seen in my career working as a caretaker on the Appalachian Trail, but more than that, it goes to Sue.
They have it.
Two completely amazing hikers.
It gets to leave.
There you go.
Well, not all of it's leaving. You have to have a hiker box or I'm screwed.